Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah,
Matter of fact,
good
I'm gonna
morning,
bring
good
that up because
morning, good morning, good morning, people. We on the air. We on the air. This is
good
Saturday
morning.
morning. Yeah, we're a little early this morning. I'm pretty sure some of you all were gonna be looking for us at 9 o'clock. You guys are gonna be seeing our recorded version and everything on YouTube. So don't worry about it. We're here at 8 o'clock in the morning because we had, at least I had an emergency going on. So how you doing today, Ted? What's going
I'm doing
on out
wonderful, man. Everything is great for me, but what's going on in the country?
there?
Oh man, I tell you, man, there's so much stuff going on. It's I don't know what you call silly season because we got this thing that's going on in Ohio State. Because last Wednesday we was talking about some things that were going on with the Catholic Church. But man, Ohio State is another story, and then you got this Jim Jordan thing going on. So I'm trying to figure out if what is going on, man. These people are molesting these boys, they're molesting these girls, they got all of these complaints. What is going on? This Me Too movement and wife beating and everything else.
Man, Ohio State, man, has become a monster and stuff out there. I guess this whole thing started from what had happened there in Michigan State when that doctor was abusing all these gymnastic girls and stuff and everything. And during the trial for the doctor, some of these guys who were wrestlers and stuff at Ohio State University back in the 90s, 1990s or whatever, were being molested also and stuff by their team doctor. So I guess that seeing those young ladies and stuff there on television telling their story about how this doctor abused them, these young men memories of what happened to them came back. So one of the guys and stuff got a hold of one of his teammates that he was still staying in contact with, and they contacted some of the others, and now there's over 100 guys and stuff out there, I guess, who are complaining that their team doctor and stuff, I guess he's dead now, abused them back in back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing has gotten so out there that it has implicated one of our really bolsters conservative House Republican members and stuff from Ohio named Jim Jordan, who is trying to become the Speaker of the House. He's got his bid in to be the Speaker of the House. And they're saying that he was the assistant coach, I guess, at that time, or the coach during that time when it was going on. And some of these kids went back and told him about it, and he never did anything about it.
Yeah, he just turned his head, turned his cheek. Hey, you remember the Speaker of the House? I can't think of his name.
Oh yeah, he's from Illinois.
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't he the one who was paying? He was paying this guy off that he was abusing. Hassard.
Yes.
Hassard. Hassard. Yeah.
And he was a wrestling coach.
Yeah, and he was paying this kid off that he was being abused by. He was using money, taking money from some fund he had, and he would regularly sending this guy money and stuff, so he would shut up. Something like what, $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
But they found out that he was doing it, and he lost his job for it. So it looks like we got another Republican who's but well, I can't say that what Jim Jordan done was not as bad as what Hassett had done, but
we don't really know, do we?
yeah, we don't really know because these kids are saying that they told him about it, that he never did anything about it. So he was involved in this thing, but he's turning around saying that he didn't do anything. The kids didn't say anything at all to him, and he's all surprised that this was going on at the university. And there are Republicans. Even Trump came back and supported him. Oh yeah, he didn't do this. We know this guy. We know Jim. And Jim wouldn't do anything like that. If he saw something like that going on, he would stop it. And so all this is propaganda, a conspiracy against Jim Jordan because he's such a popular guy there on in the Republican ranks. So, and then
well, he's part of the Freedom Caucus, right?
Yeah, he's part of that. He joined that group. He didn't come in as it, but he joined them at the Freedom Caucus. Yeah, and then we find out that Ohio State football coach been put on administrative leave. Yep. Urban Meyer, one of the top football programs in the country and stuff now, and he's been put on administrative leave because he had a football, one of his assistant coaches and everything was involved in a real bad domestic violence against his wife. And I guess he knew about it and he said he didn't. And come to find out, man, there's not a paper trail, but an email trail where his wife was emailing the lady who was being abused back and everything and telling her to hold on and do this. And now Urban Meyer saying he didn't know anything about it. Well, if his wife knew about it, it's very hard to be able to say that you didn't know about it. and you sleeping with her every night.
Absolutely.
Oh man, so it is this
undercover, man. I mean, it's just like they say, what's done in the dark will come into the light. So it's a lot of things that's in the dark right now that's coming to light, and just like all of a sudden, all of these top level clearance security people, that's out there, they come out front talking about, we know for sure that Russia is going to attack us in the 2018 election, just like they did in the 2016. Now they've had 2-3 years to clean this mess up. And, they're saying one thing and 45 is saying another. And they have invested billions of dollars in security for cyber security. And they still can't figure it out because there's so many cells in this country, and, do I have proof of that they have cells? No, I don't have proof, but you read things and you can read between the lines. You can tell we already show that they've already had one person that went up into the NRA. I just read an article that they claim that NRA is going broke now.
And, man, they're not going broke, man.
No, I'm telling you. They cut him back, bro. They cut him back. This is the article I read. I'm telling you. They cut him back because of people are not giving as much money now because of that Russian lady.
But the money is coming from these Russian oligarchs, Ted.
Oh, yeah, right.
These Russian oligarchs these Russian oligarchs got billions of dollars that they have already given to these people, Ted. It's I guess the whole really nastiness of this whole thing and stuff, Ted, is that you have our leader of this country and everything who is saying that this stuff is not happening, but you having all of your intelligence agencies and stuff saying it's happening. And you having the executive branch of the government, the leader there, attacking our intelligence industry, saying that they don't know what they're doing and this is fake news or whatever. But they all know what's going on. So I guess it came to a head on Wednesday or Thursday when all of your people from the intelligence industry, you got the director of the FBI, a person that Trump had nominated to be the director of the FBI after he fired Comey. He's got the director of the young lady and stuff that Trump put in charge and stuff of, because John Kelly and stuff left the job, and he wanted this lady to come in there. They have the other national intelligence head and stuff there. They even had John Bolton there, who was newly installed and stuff as Trump's national intelligence person and stuff there, standing there on stage saying that we have a problem and that they are going to be doing something about it. And the election is 90 some days away. And it's less than 3 hours later, your president is standing at a rally saying, we don't have any problem. The Russians aren't doing anything.
It's fake news. It's fake news. That's what it is. It's fake news.
And then you have his department heads who standing up there saying, yeah, he's with us, he knows about it, and then he turns around and everything and stabs them in the back and says, no, it's not going on. Man, Ted, this is
how can you figure this thing out? You know, I mean, this might sound kind of crazy, but man, the word is things are going across. I mean, you know, I'm into a lot of the, you know, looking at different kinds of mediums, and, you know, the social medium. I mean, a lot of people are calling the guy a Russian agent. 45, a Russian agent. I mean, that's hard to take right there. You know, you got an American president who is talking against us and not protecting our, you know, and the one thing that maybe that might be his motive, because, you know, that's a sense of a voter suppression. You know, it's just like, for example, let's say if all of a sudden a lot of these states turn blue. If they turn blue, then what they can do is spread propaganda saying it was fixed. And even himself can say that it was fixed, 45. You see what I'm saying?
Well, Ted, he's been doing that already, because even after he won the national election as president, he turned around there and told everybody that his inauguration had the biggest crowd ever. And and anybody with any kind of sense know that Barack Obama had the largest inauguration and stuff that anyone has ever had. So he
don't believe your lying eyes.
Yeah, and then he turned around even before this and stuff. And not on the election, he says that, hey, I had more votes than Hillary did, and everybody knows that she got almost 4 million votes, popular votes, than he did. Yeah. So this man is it is just horrible. But Ted, not only the election that you were just talking about and everything, his desire to bring the Russians and stuff into his world negotiations. He's already trying to get the UN or somebody and stuff out there. Oh, this economic aid or whatever it is. They have like 8 world leaders and stuff and everything. And after he did something in Crimea, they kicked him off of that group of 8. Now Trump is trying to get the group of 7 to bring Russia back on because he didn't do anything wrong. So he's not only dealing, you know, ignoring our election is going on, he's also turning to be their puppet out there on the world scene.
Well, I don't think that the G7 is going to allow Russia to come back in.
Oh, no, they're not. But he's trying to get them to come back. He's politicking to have them to bring Russia back on. Man, that's horrible. And then he's doing something over there in Syria that even his own commander in chiefs and stuff and everything, the military, have no idea what he had told, promised Putin that the United States was going to do.
Yeah.
And nobody to the day and stuff knows exactly what those 2-hour sessions and stuff was when he sat down and privately talked to Putin and stuff at Helsinki. Nobody in his whole administration knows anything about what he done said. And we don't know what he's promised. And now he made a big deal back in May or whatever about Kim Jong-un and North Korea. You see what's going on there. These people are still producing nuclear weapons and everything. What the heck, Ted? Who have we got out there, man, standing up for us?
The American people, man, a lot of us are, dormant. We just we're just sitting back and just enjoying life and like carefree and like everything is rosy dozy just because the economy is humming. They just broke a record of 3.9% unemployment. One of the lowest in years.
Yeah, but all that's fake, Ted, because we know that that the economy got bolstered and stuff during that quarter because Trump has enacted a tariff on imports and stuff coming into this country. So most of the people who were importing into this country or exporting and stuff bought up a whole lot of stuff and everything. So it made us look good, but this next quarter going to be disastrous. And he's still messing with these tariffs. he for some reason or another, he does not like China. And then, Ted, you have your heads and stuff. You got Pompeo, or whatever that guy's name, who's the Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got Wilbur Ross and stuff, who is the U.S. Commerce Secretary. These people and stuff are actively involved in stuff, and some of these things that Trump is doing, his own by the wing negotiations and telling people what they're going to do, and the United States is going to do, and he hasn't even told his people and stuff what he wants to do and ask their opinion about it. He's just doing it. That exercise that they had over there in Korea, where South Korea and the United States do their military exercises there in the South China Sea. All of a sudden, he told Kim Jong-un, we're not going to do that anymore. He didn't even ask his commander-in-chiefs and stuff about it. What did they think about it? And he never even told South Korea, and they're supposed to be his ally.
Yeah. Yep. So what is going on? And I'll go back to my beginning statement that a lot of people across the country, man, are saying that he's a Russian agent. Or, as some people say, he's just out for himself. He's not for the American people. He's trying to appease a lot of people where he can go in and make money. Because if you think about it, you look at Jared. What is he doing? He's running around getting money here and there. Some guy just gave him a bunch of money to hold that building for him, and they paid up for 99 years. So they are using politics.
Heck, Ted, look at the what they did with the Trump Tower. They just got a new thing saying accounting and stuff of the Trump Tower and stuff, and the Trump Tower for 3 years straight wasn't making a dime. Now all of a sudden, these international guys in Saudi Arabia, some of the Ukraine, and some of the other Middle East countries and stuff that came in and went into the Trump Tower and everything and start using it. And now they're in the black and everything. They bringing in big money and stuff now because of what they done. So this emolument thing and that they've got a lawsuit that they have going on and stuff now, it's got some real strong stuff behind it and stuff now, and more evidence and stuff and everything that he is using his position and stuff as the president of the United States to capitalize on it and to enact wealth and stuff with his family. And so
One of the things, and this is what I've been hearing, I don't know how true it is, but they said Mulder already got his taxes.
He's already got his what?
His taxes.
Well,
now I don't know how true that is, but if he has his taxes, he knows, and they can go back 30 years, and they just fill in the blank. They can tell who they did business with. He's got so many businesses. That's why the files are so. I mean, they say he's got a storage room full of files.
Well, Ted, if Mueller doesn't have it, he is going to get it. He's going to get access and stuff to it and everything, because there have been numerous lawsuits and stuff filed against Trump. And finally, one of the federal district judges and stuff and everything has allowed, I think this newspaper guy and stuff and everything, discovery and stuff against some things that Trump is doing. So and part of that discovery and everything, they can force him to give up his tax returns. So if he doesn't have it and stuff, he will have it, because once this newspaper guy or this newspaper and stuff gets it, they're going to put it all out there, and it's going to be public news, public knowledge. So it's just a matter of time, Ted, and stuff, before this stuff comes to a head. I believe that once this election is over, things are going to change, especially if the Democrats and stuff get one of those houses. If they get the Senate or the House of Representatives, if they become a majority in either one of them, things are going to come to a head for Trump. He is going to be a lot of nasty things are going to be coming out. And a lot of those nasty things and stuff may just be covered up and everything, because you know what they say, Ted, and it's been going on for a long time. Politics makes strange bedfellows.
That's true. And the one thing that I wanted to kind of cape up on, there's a big term right now that's going out now. And I might have it reversed. Democratic socialists. That right there term is a big thing right now that's going out, because I understand that to them that's like.
Have you read my blog article?
You just got one out? I haven't read that one.
You haven't read it. I got a blog article. You go back and read it. Go back and read it. It talks about socialism. These supposedly quote unquote democratic socialist representatives. We're talking about Bernie Sanders and this young lady and stuff, Alexandra Ocasio, who won the primary and stuff there in New York and stuff, and they've already labeled her a socialist. Go back and read the article and stuff and everything. It gives a lot of things that you might want to read before you start talking too much.
Well, I'm going to talk anyway, because I know I have quite a bit of information about it. But the thing is, to me, is that I'm for a lot of the stuff that people are saying, like Medicare for all. I'm for free education, because they're ripping these kids off, as far as, they got a $100,000, $200,000 bill for getting an education, and they got all of these endowments and everything.
And especially these college students and stuff and everything, they really, really, really need monies and stuff to educate themselves. And
the thing about it, education in the last 20 years, man, and I mean, probably went up 10 times as much as it used to be. When I went to college back in the late 60s and the early 70s, man, you could California back then was free. You can go to college basically free. And then, I mean, our tuition probably wasn't no more than, $500, if that. So the thing is that they have monetized everything. They're monetizing to make money, and and it's not right because our biggest commodity is our people. They can try to make money off. They're making money all off of us. But when I'm saying commodity, I'm talking about brain power. I'm talking about ingenuity, inventions, uh, training people the right way and doing things that they desire to do. And a lot of people want to be medical doctors. A lot of people want to be scientists. A lot of people want to be a lot of things, but they can't afford it. People are dropping out of college. People can't finish. And it takes them 10, 15 years before they become what they want to be, because they got to take their time and take classes or get in total debt. And and then while you in college, they want you to even pay then, start paying back then while you in college. So these people, I don't understand it, man. It's well, I do understand it, because all they want to do is try to rip you off and make money, just like
greed.
Greed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say it, but getting back to the socialist thing, and Democratic Party, that's the movement that I think that a lot of progressives want to go, and they're not going to be ashamed of it. And I think that when they talk about certain issues that's going to touch the American people, those are the things that these American people need. A lot of us need. When you got health care and you got equality when it comes to the pay scale, the average right now, $27 is what people should be making right now an hour.
To be able to live.
To be able to live. Just to live.
Yes, just to live.
And so they thinking, you got some different groups around the country that works for these fast food restaurants. They're just asking for $15 an hour. They want to double their minimum wage, and it's just not keeping up. It's just not keeping up. And so because number one, these corporate CEOs and officers under him are making millions and millions of dollars, and it's not filtering down to the worker. And they're the ones, and plus they want to give their investors, something to pocket.
Now, you brought up something and stuff, Ted, that that has came out in the news and stuff on the last few days. I think it was either Thursday or Friday and stuff. I read an article and stuff and about healthcare, that everybody talking about healthcare costs going up, and it's spiraling, and they don't know what to do with. People can't pay for their healthcare premiums. Well, they just brought out and stuff now that the healthcare industry, all the executives said they're making more money in the healthcare than they've ever made. And so you speaking of that greed thing and socialism and all that, that's it. These people are they're telling people that they're broke and they can't do anything, and they're making the healthcare costs and stuff are going up. But these people are making huge sums of money and stuff and everything for their shareholder, for the people and stuff on these executives and stuff who are running these healthcare processes out there. So, we're not going broke. That greed out there is really taking over in our industry and stuff here. And socialism is a thing that maybe can curb some of that things down. But even if they do get involved in stuff in it, Ted, that if they raise the minimum wage up to $15 an hour, these people aren't going to go broke. They're going to still make money.
Oh yeah.
They know if they have health care for all, they're going to make a lot of money. People are going to have jobs. They're going to have all kinds of stuff, because everybody's going to be able to go in there and see a doctor or go to a clinic or whatever and be taken care of. So that means that if you've got another 100 million people and stuff there who are coming into the healthcare system. You're going to have doctors, you're going to have nurses, you're going to have CNAs, you're going to have a whole lot of people and stuff out there. And a lot more people are going to have to start building clinics. They're going to have to start coming in and doing the maintenance and stuff inside the place, fixing it up, repairing things that's going on inside these things. So that means there's more jobs of people out there, and your population is going to stay more healthy. So it's not going to hurt people. They can make money and stuff. All they got to do is just go in and allow this stuff to happen. And why people are so enamored with gaining more wealth. You know, if you work for $150 billion, damn, can't you give me $15 an hour, man? Shoot. You know, my children want to eat, you know. I want to be able to at least, you know, be able to have some beans or something in my house, or have a car that I can ride in and stuff for a little bit. It may be raggedy, but at least,
because you don't want to, they don't want to produce mass transportation like they should.
Yeah,
so everybody has to have a car. You have to have a car.
Yeah, and then speaking of mass transportation, look at what's going on down there. What California now is trying to get these high-speed mass transit trains and stuff from Los Angeles to San Francisco. And man, they are fighting this tooth and nail there in California. I can't believe this. You know, what's wrong with, building this mass transit? It's going.
Well, I can tell you what's wrong with it. The auto dealerships and those lobbyists don't want it, bro, because they want you to keep ripping and running up and down the highways.
But Ted, you and I already talked about it. You woke up when you lived in California. You said, I woke up every morning, man, it was smog everywhere. So we need to get these people off the highway so you can be able to go over there in California and breathe some clean air.
I'm gonna tell you, back in the late 70s and the 80s when I was there, man, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, get ready to go to work. I hit the freeway about 7:15, 7:30, and that smog was thick, and it wouldn't burn off until about 11:30, 12:30, depending on the wind. So, and you breathing that stuff, man, and your chest is just a burning, and it's crazy. And they did, when they start doing those emissions and they start demanding, all of that, cut back on all that, the air got a little bit better. And I'm sure right now it's probably much better than it was when I was there. And that was like almost 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think, and it costs a lot of money to do that kind of thing. That's why 45 talking about, well, this is going to save the American people $500 billion, because they put so many costs on the cars, because of all these emissions and all the things that they need to do, because they got smart engineers that can do all of these mileage things, can give you 50, 60, 70 miles per gallon. Mm-hmm. And then they get all these small engineers that go in there and whatever they do as far as with the gas, and so the thing is though, man, this right here is he's just playing politics with the big companies.
There is nothing, what we're trying to get across, there is nothing wrong with mass transit. There's nothing wrong with healthcare for all. There's nothing wrong with giving a free college education for our children. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with raising the minimum wage up to $15 an hour. And why we have so many politicians and business people out there who are fighting this stuff tooth and nail, it is just beyond me.
Because they said, as a socialist, we don't want this country to be socialist, Ed.
But that's not being socialist, Ted. You just paying people what they're worth. If they worth more than $7, $8 an hour, they worth more than $15 an hour. Give it to them. What the hell? Like I told you, everybody's not making, I was a little exaggerating about the $150 billion, but you got a heck of a lot of people in this country and stuff now, Ted, who are billionaires, who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars and everything. And they're constantly sitting out there trying to rip people off to get more and more and more money off of people who cannot afford to do anything and stuff in this country.
Well, the Bible tells us, and I can't quote the scripture. I can only tell you from memory and paraphrasing. The wicked rich consistently try to prey on the poor in every way they can. And so what's happening is that a lot of people that are making money, they are making money off the poor. We've talked about this many times. We talked about the payday loans. We talked about people get their taxes back, and what the first thing they do, they look for a cheap car, and it might last them 6 months or whatever. Or, and then you have these neighborhoods that are grocery deserts. They don't have groceries, where they have to travel on the bus or walk or take a bike and got to go a mile or two before they get to a grocery store. So the bottom line is that they prey on the poor. There are, what did we say, how many millions of people that are working poor? When there are 140 million?
No, it's about 60 who are actually really, really, really poor.
60 million.
Yeah, who are really poor, but they're in this country. But there are 140 some million people and stuff and everything who are living paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck. And that is not right. Because you know what they're doing? They're sending their kids to college and helping them try to get through school so they can have a better life and a better school, a better life and a better situation for themselves. They're working 2 jobs. They're doing everything, spending all their money on trying to be better and take care of their livelihood, pay their rent, pay their, their car note and all of those types of things. And paycheck to paycheck. You said 140, 60 million people. That's a lot of people in this country.
Paycheck to paycheck. They're poor, but they're not really, they say they're not really poor, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. So if they miss a paycheck, then they fall down into that 60 million.
But here's the thing, you get these congressmen, Ed, you get these congressmen saying, they got cell phones, they got screen TVs, and they got this and they got that. They got microwaves in their house, and they sit up here and talk about these people ain't poor. You don't know what poor is, and they sit up there and holler and scream because somebody's got a microwave or somebody's got a DVD player, and all of a sudden.
What does that sound like to you, Ted? I remember as a little boy, we had a thing called the welfare man.
Right. You remember that movie?
People on welfare, they come in and have to hide the iron. They had to hide the TV screen, a little TV they had for any kind of luxury. They had a toaster. They had to hide it because they were saying there was too much. You couldn't have a toaster. This stuff has been, the analogy of this whole thing has been going on for a long time, Ted. It just has gotten even more ridiculous and stuff as we going along, because it was those things that happened in the 60s, man, were just horrible. These women and stuff who were getting welfare to help take care of their children couldn't have nothing. You couldn't have anything. If your friend came over and bought you a toaster so you could toast your bread, you couldn't have that. It's just horrible. So what's wrong with people being able nowadays to buy them a microwave or have them a cell phone? Because, Ted, the cell phone now, and and I know it, that it has become a necessity in this day and age.
Absolutely.
You're working 2 jobs. You have children at home.
That's right.
you got to contact them and keep in contact with them to make sure that they are okay.
That's right. They
Because
got
you're not at home. Yeah, you're not at home. So they got to be able to talk to them. Hey, did you make it home okay? Hey, is anything wrong? Hey, do you need something at the house? You need me to bring something there? What's going on there? Because if you're working 2 jobs, that's 16 hours a day, Ted. You don't have an 8 left. And part of that time is spent from driving from one job to the other or driving from that job to your home. You get 5 hours of sleep and you're back up working again.
That's right.
What's going on with your children who you are trying to put food in their mouth and a roof over their head? You got to keep up with.
And the reason why they have to work 2 jobs is because if you're making $8, $9, $10 an hour, is not enough money. How you gonna live a certain lifestyle and take care of your children? You have 2 or 3 children, or 4 children, or whatever, and then all of a sudden now you're doing the best you can, and especially if you're a single mom or a single dad.
Hey, Ted, hey, all of our children, man, got cell phones. Matter of fact, my wife she got 6 of them she buys now for our grandchildren, so they can have a cell phone so she can call them up and talk to them. Yeah. So it's became a necessity in this day and age and stuff. We don't have a home phone. We just have cell phones so we can keep in contact.
I mean, how many people we got rid of our landline probably maybe a couple of years ago, but we had that thing for like 30 years, never hardly even used it. 20 years, I should say, and never used it hardly. The only thing we got was solicitor calls on that, and I can still remember the number, but what I'm saying is we had it so long, but we never used it. Once we got the cell phone, we started using cell phones, what, 15, 20 years ago on a regular basis?
Yeah, but they weren't as nice as they were out now. You can get by with them back then, but nowadays, man, I got my cell phone right here, buddy.
Well, look here though, I got mine here too. But what I'm saying is, though, I can remember, and I'm gonna digress a little bit. Back in the early '80s, when I was in outside sales, working for a major newspaper, and the cell phones that they made us have is not like this now.
No,
they were like a foot and a half.
Heavy.
The bill was like $500-$600 every month. And that's when they had those pocket things. What do you call those? Look, you put on your waistband. What was those things called, man? But we used to have those too, and wear that, and then carry that big old phone.
It's almost a holster, like a gun or something.
No, when was a beeper? They used to call them. Is a beeper?
Oh, beepers! Oh, yeah, man, yeah, beepers.
Yeah, I used to have 2 on one for the family and one for me, one for the business. So if the family called, then I know it's them, and I can go to a local phone, and then or
find out what's going on.
Yeah, right, and say who called me. Like if a business called me, I said, oh, that's so and so, and then I go, if you can find a phone at that time.
But there were some smart mothers and women and stuff out there who had a code. This is your code here. If I beep you and it says 55 on the end of it, this means this. Or if it says 44 on this end, it means that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, my wife did that, man. She did it. It's a code. You got a code here. If this said 55, it was something. It meant this. If this said this, it meant that.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
The number and a code and stuff at the end of it. So if we look at that, you saw the code on it, you know what was going on. So you have to go to a phone because you already knew. Well, 55, man, bring milk and bread.
Well, see, I hated the beepers. I hated the big cell phones, and I barely used them, to be quite honest with you, man. I just used to carry them around, unless it was a business call or my wife called while I'm out in the field or whatever, then that's fine. But the bottom line is, we are in a different age now. I mean, everybody has to have, they made us get these flat screens.
Oh yeah.
TVs. They made it.
They made us get it.
I threw away five of these big TVs, man, to throw them away.
Yeah, they're huge. Can he carry them, man? I don't know how you threw them away.
That's what I'm saying. I had somebody log them out. I ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna be picking up that crap. And it was like, oh man, I must have had 5 or 6 of these big old TVs, in every room. And we'd just throw them away, man, give them away.
Hey, one thing, Ted, I want to bring up before we get off this air, because it's getting, we're getting close to the hour top end here. I read an article and stuff and everything. This guy, he did an article and stuff about this, and I was kind of sort of interested in stuff about it. It gave me a different view and stuff as to what was going on and why this was really happening. And I think you brought it up to me either last week or week before last. You brought this up. Black pastors for Trump.
Ooh. I couldn't even watch it. Couldn't even watch it. Oh man, Lord help us. And then you got this guy Gray, Reverend Gray or John Gray, going around trying to make up for what he knew that he shouldn't have been there, and now he's trying to justify what he's done. But that's on him. I mean, God bless him. If you feel that the Lord led him to do that and sit there, I'm not going to judge the man. That's just the way I feel about it. Because you at the table, but wasn't nothing done. No decisions made.
Yeah, and that's the point, that we got these pastors and stuff who are running around here and stuff now talking about they're for Trump and everything, and you wonder what's going on in their mind, how they can come out and just say that this man is the best thing that we've had. My wife and my mother-in-law used to go to church here in Atlanta and stuff here, and my mother-in-law really loved this church, and my wife didn't. But one morning, this pastor said something about Trump. My mother-in-law told my wife, "We got to go." He can't be talking about the word of the Lord, and if he put Trump's name in his mouth and in the sermon. And my wife helped her mom get up and walk out the door. And as they were walking out the door and everything, they kind of looked behind them, and probably about a third of the church was walking out the door.
What? Oh my God!
Oh yeah, they haven't been back to that church since then. So, why these pastors and stuff are doing this, I have no idea.
Money, bro.
And I can't. Yeah, money. But even with money and stuff, Ted, there's not enough money to lose your soul.
Well, that's what's going on right now across the country. Politicians, unfortunately, ministers, business people, money. I mean, did you hear about Cohen? I'm gonna switch gears here a little minute. Cohen went after Michael Cohen, 45, used to be personal lawyer.
Right.
Was setting up a deal with someone in either Colorado, California, wherever, and he wanted to get a nuclear plant.
Right. He paid him what, $12 million or something like that?
Yes, to get in cahoots with Trump so he can get like a $500 million loan.
He can get the government to come forth and pay part of that money to build that nuclear plant. Yeah.
So, money, man. Money will change a person. And and you don't have to have the love of money. You can just want money and need money so that you can take care of your family. That's the reason why a lot of these people are working around 45 and working for 45, and these politicians are working because they want that money so they can live a certain lifestyle. They might not have the love of money or the lust of money, but they want to live a certain lifestyle. If you're making $200,000 a year plus another 100,000 on the side doing speeches or maybe even more, that's a good lifestyle, bro. You know, you making $400,000 or $500,000 a year. That's a nice little lifestyle. You know, you can afford, you know, $1 million, $2 million house. You can afford this and afford that. You know, a couple, 3, 4 cars and a boat. You know, so you can go fishing on the weekend and take those nice little vacations. You know, so you know,
a private jet.
well, you know, that's big time right there. You know, you can rent a jet.
You can share it. I can share it with a few of my friends.
There you go. There you go. And I think a lot of them do that too. A lot of them do that too. And so, you know, I mean, and it makes you feel, you know, important. And that's what a lot of people like to feel, important. And that's fine. But to sell your soul for a few dollars extra more, you know, so that you can live a little better lifestyle, you know, you know, and this is nothing negative, but this is what they call them, the deplorables, the Trump followers. I mean, the diehard people, 35% of these people that follow him.
Yeah. Well,
they will go broke. They will go broke. They will spend their last dime to follow him. They don't care about money. They don't care about nothing but following him. That's it. So they don't care. They don't care. Man, let me tell you something. One of the alternative radio stations I listened to interviewed a lady and asked her, and she lives here in Clearwater because, you know, 45 came here to Tampa last week. And or was it this week? And so he asked her, say, oh, he said, you're a Trump supporter. Oh, yes, I'm a Trump supporter. He said, well, where do you live? I said, I live in Clearwater. And she said, oh, okay. He said, well, how's the economy doing for you? And, you know, just sort of kind of interviewing her. And she said, well, I just got laid off. I got laid off last year. Well, you don't have a job and you're here? She said, yeah, I'm here volunteering. And she said, and yeah, you know, I'm here, but I don't have enough gas to get back home. That's how dedicated some of these people are. Just spend a last dime so that she can see Trump and volunteer. A lot of these people are traveling all over the country. Whenever he speaks, they go follow him. And they've done interviews. Where you from? Mississippi. Where you from? Ohio. Where you from? You got thousands of people following him wherever he goes. That's the game they playing. They say he got 8-10 million people, 10,000 people in these auditoriums, but you got 4,000 or 5,000 religiously are following him everywhere he goes. You know,
it's like a cult.
Yeah, it's like a cult.
It's like a cult and stuff and everything. So those audiences and stuff that you are seeing at these places around the country that he's showing up at, a lot of those people aren't local folks. They are from other parts of the country and stuff who are just following him. So he's not really that popular. I'm looking at Ted, these things where they're talking about this guy is popular here. He's got 33% of the country or 38% of the country says that Trump is okay. He's popular there. But I believe those numbers and stuff out there really screwed off. It is really screwed up. And we're going to see in November and stuff what's going to happen and stuff there, especially in a lot of these red states and stuff and everything who aren't going to support these Republican candidates and stuff and everything, and some of the Republicans. And I'm looking for a surprise here that the senator there from Texas and stuff and everything is going to have one heck of a time in his reelection.
Okay.
I'm looking at that Beto O'Rourke. I guess he's doing one heck of a job there, getting his word out and stuff there in Texas and stuff and everything. So we may have a Democrat senator from Texas. I don't know. It's going to be difficult for the guy, but he is running one heck of a campaign and stuff there. One heck of a campaign. So
well, I mean, that's a lesser of two evils. When you having Democrats that are thinking a lot about regular folk. really regular folk that really concerned about this country and want to do better for themselves. They're not running around. They everyday people that are trying to work, not a bunch of retired, disabled people that's following some so-called leader. So one thing, let's switch gears here, man, because I was thinking, and you made a statement saying something about this company was going under. And I was trying to figure out, what were you talking about?
What company? What?
Apple, bruh. Apple.
Oh man! Oh yeah! I was just looking at the name here and stuff of this other senator that I forgot about, Ted Cruz, who's the senator there.
Oh, man,
I have to. I want to be able to tell my audience, just like I text Mr. Harvey. We had a big argument and stuff on Wednesday about who was going to be the first $1 trillion company and stuff, as far as worth or stock or whatever. And I said it was going to be Amazon. Well, I was wrong, and I have to tell my audience I was wrong. Apple on Thursday went over the top when their stock evaluations came out, and that day they went over $2.07 a share, which made them the first $1 trillion company.
Okay, all right. We just wanted to get that out there in the air.
They beat out my old boy Amazon, but I'm telling you, Amazon is still Amazon's going to cross that mark and everything and stuff also. But I believe they're going to pass Apple in the next year or so, or at least months or whatever. Because
you're predicting that.
I'm predicting that Amazon will become worth more than Apple and stuff here in the very near future. So maybe this prediction won't go right, but we shall see. Because I'm telling you, Amazon is nipping at Apple's heels, and I believe that Apple has some structural problems and stuff there in their products and stuff that they're bringing out. And that weakness and stuff in that structure and everything is going to really create some problems and stuff down the road and stuff.
Well, I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm going to tell you this right now. If you read all the little stories about Apple and different things with what they do, Apple has over 350,000 people that work overseas, and they got another crew that's even work minimum than that. They got people they got whole blocks of people and nothing but cell phones, people working on cell phones. So Apple is using cheap labor like crazy and trying to work all these kinks and bugs and all of that in the phones. And these people know these little phones like it's their hand. When they see problems, throw it away, fix it. That's what they do. So that's why Apple is ahead, because they're using cheap labor, and then they sell phones for $1,000 a piece over here or whatever over there. So anyway,
well,
we're running out of time here.
Those phones and stuff that we are getting and stuff is still going to be Apple's bottom line. Those cell phones, what's their fault lines are going to come into their Mac line of their computers, the iPads and their computers, because those things and stuff are getting some real stiff competition and stuff out there. And if you look at that bottom line, they sold almost 50% less computers and stuff than they have sold in the last quarter and stuff and everything, and last year. So they aren't picking up that slack and stuff in those off things, but they are getting into other industries and stuff and everything. And like we said, they're getting into that media thing, and they've already hired the big O to come in to help them to get that media off the ground. So when the big O gets involved with something and everything, man, you talking a lot of money getting ready to come in there. So maybe
who's the big O?
Oprah.
Oh,
Apple
I thought you were
Apple
talking about
hired
Oscar Robinson.
no Apple hired Oprah, man, to help run their media empire. They're getting into media and stuff now, and they've already invested they're going to invest over $1 billion into starting a media industry that they want to compete with Netflix and some of the other streaming companies and stuff out there. So, when Oprah starts putting her hands on something and everything, it means money and stuff to them. So they're betting on Oprah. they can't go wrong betting on the O.
All right.
So anyway, Ted, you got anything else you want to say? You're right, man.
We're good, man. Because I know you got things to do and places to go.
Yeah,
Really
we're getting ready to go visit some family members up in Kentucky this afternoon. So, and my wife is downstairs getting herself ready, and I know she's waiting on me because 1 hour from now she wants us to be on the highway. So, anyway, everybody have a good day. Ted, you have a good day, and I will see the audience and stuff on Wednesday. I'll probably be in Illinois and stuff then, but we will be out here on our telecast on Wednesday.
All right, bro.
We'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Hey baby, what you trying to do? Spent the night just trying to find you. You the hottest one under the sun, and I'm under your spell. We stuck just like glue. You ain't got the free crib, oh well. You and me can head to the hotel. Whatever we do, just don't tell. I don't need anybody all on my coattail. I feel your energy and I ain't trying to fight it. Your vibe is way too exciting. I know I'm who you wanna ride with. Don't fake it, I know that you like it.
It's more than just emotions. I get more emotions. All you gotta do is focus, not what you used to, but you like it. But you like it. Ooh, yeah. I've been out here looking for you. Just something special, man.
Get up on my roller coaster. Get inside my aeroplane. I can take you places, baby. Places you ain't